Hi, everybody. Please welcome to the swamp, Lady G Tarot. I am very excited to have her on. I've been watching her for several years now, and one of my favorites. So I'm kind of stumped. I don't know what questions to really ask you, or if you just want to volunteer, talk about yourself a little bit. I guess, how did you get into this? Have you always done this since like?
Yeah, no, I haven't always done this. I started out in an esoteric Christian order long time ago, and they were doing tarot stuff, but I didn't really get into it then. Although what I do remember from then was the colors and the things that mean the conscious, the subconscious action, and those types of things. I remember and recalled from there. And then I had taken my own journey, 30 years through Kundalini, and completed that in 1999. And
Wow.
then worked as a guru, helped people. I still have an online ashram for people that are in Kundalini and to get them balanced and integrated and going forward. So that's still happening. But I had done that for since 1999, and I have another YouTube channel that was dedicated to that with a lot of satsang and all that type of thing on there. And I've got about 5 books out, 6 books um, on that type of subject. And so, you know, I had given everything I could give. I couldn't think of any more topics after that many years of daily. And then I picked up the tarot cards and I decided I'm going to do something that's fun. And so off and running, I came with the tarot.
I've had, as my family, my mother and my grandmother would put it, from when I was a child, they would just look at me and say, "Oh, she's got the gift." And that was it. It was never explained. It was never made a big deal about. Just, "Oh, okay, you got it too." And and we all had different abilities. My grandmother would know 5 minutes before the phone rang. She would, and this was like back when phones were on party lines and there was no caller ID, but she would just be like, "Oh, so and so's going to call. Go get the phone." Five
Yeah.
minutes later, the phone would ring, and that's who would be on it. Um, my mom would get visions of people's death if it was like really traumatic. She would have a vision about it, and it really bothered her. So she didn't like to talk about it.
Yeah.
Um, I only knew about it because of a couple of times, certain circumstances when she would talk to her sister, and I would overhear, um, who also had abilities, but I'm not quite sure exactly how she did hers. But so it's always kind of been in the family. And then I stumbled, like I was saying earlier, I just kind of stumbled into this community right after the shutdown hit us.
Uh-huh.
And I had just lost my mom, who I had been taking care of for the last 10 years. She had dementia.
Oh,
And it's really rough. And so I just lost her. And then COVID hit. We were all stuck at home. And fortunately, I could work from home. My boss was like, "Take a computer. You could do what you do there just as easily." So at least I didn't lose my paycheck too. And Diane from Diane's Tarot was the first person that showed up on my feed. And I was like, I didn't know this even existed. And I started watching everything that would come at me. You were one of the first group.
oh my
You,
goodness.
Linda G. Um, I remember when Diane introduced Hogarth to the community and brought him in, and I was like, "Wow, what a fascinating guy!" He
Oh,
just
very interesting.
cracks me up. I laugh whenever I watch him. Um, and then I just, and then slowly it filtered out as I got to know more and more people, and
So how
finally,
does your gift work? What is your gift with the with the
right now, it's like it's kind of like just a knowing.
uh,
I'll just know something. Sometimes when I'm reading cards, I will I will say I hear such and such, but technically I don't really hear it. But a
Right.
couple of times that has happened, and I have actually heard a voice say, "No, it's this," or "No, it's that." And so it's trying to open myself up to that. When I was a little girl, I would hear a man talk to me, deep male voice, think Darth Vader, that
Yeah.
kind of voice. And when family would come in the room, it'd be like, "Who are you talking to?" And I'd be like, "Oh, I'm talking to God."
Yeah.
They're like, "Oh, okay." It's just like no big deal. And that lasted until I guess I was around 6 or 7, and then it just stopped.
Yeah.
And then when I was around 12, I discovered I could leave my body and float on the ceiling while
Hmm.
I look down and see myself in the bed. And that was kind of trippy, but I never left the room. I was always afraid if I couldn't see myself, I would get lost. So I would just float on the ceiling and it was just a really cool feeling, to do that. And then that slowly kind of faded away as I got older. And then you get married, you have kids, you work, all that kind of stuff. And all of that kind of got shoved in the back until COVID hit. And suddenly I started watching. And as I was watching, things started coming back to me. And I started feeling it more and more. And excuse me, my throat gets really dry. Um, I had one of the ladies in chat who's a reader, Cardamancy Mesquite, contacted me one day in chat and said, "You need to have cards. You're a reader." I'm like, "No, I'm not." She's like, "Yeah, you are." She says, "You're a medium too. You just don't know it." And I was like, "Okay." And she says, "Give me your address." So I gave her my address. She mailed me 2 decks of cards for me to start with, and which was just the sweetest thing in the world. And I just slowly got to know people, and finally decided to get my channel up and running, and didn't do a whole lot in the beginning. About 6, 7 months into it, I finally started putting in some content. So I'm still learning as I go, feeling it out.
You are, the gifts, they progress and they change along the way, and experiences change along the way. Um, Mine is mainly a lot of through feeling and just knowing. And then today I was there and I was working with these cards, and was just about ready to go out. I mean, I was just so tired, and every time I started to go out, a voice, I would hear an audible voice. And so maybe something else is coming in, more audible type of things, which I don't usually get. Now, when I was going through the Kundalini journey, I did have an audible thing that came in, and then I did have that time where um, Sundar grabbed my arm, and I knew he's a dead man. And I cautioned him, and the next day he did pass. He didn't
Oh,
listen to the
goodness.
caution. Yeah. So I've had those type of things that come in, spontaneously. It's not something you look for, but they just sometimes it just arrives and shows up. Like when I was going through the Kundalini experiences, healing opened up, and it was spontaneous. And the way it happened was I was standing in line behind this guy, and every time I get closer, my throat would start hurting like crazy. I'd back up, it would stop. I'd go close, it would hurt. I'd back up, it would stop. So I asked, "You have a sore throat?" He said, "Yes, I haven't been able, I've been to doctor after doctor and nothing." And I knew immediately what to do. And it just opened spontaneously. Uh,
Wow.
and things happen like that,
Yeah,
with these types of gifts. All of a sudden there may the energy shift to something to do, and it opens new things, and it just progresses as one goes. Yeah.
that's really cool. And I've noticed the same. It's like the more I do, the more things are starting to get stronger with me. So um,
Exactly.
I want to take a minute and say hello to everybody because wow, we got a room full. Um, let me back up a little bit here and try to catch some people from the beginning. Of course, as you all know, this is the lovely and fabulous Lady G. She's been around for a while, one of my favorites, and I'm just tickled to death that she was able to come on kind of last minute. This kind of all happened real fast. And but let's see, we've got Lisa Rhodes is here, Patricia Franzino, Colorful Foresight. She's going to be coming on my channel soon. And Rose Pirate, she's one of my students at school. And Gina M is here. And Sharon, Strawberry Rhubarb Tarot, she's here. And Viviani's here. Sheila from Spirit Messenger Sheila, she's here. And we've done a couple of shows together and kind of, trying to work schedules a lot of times because I still work full time. So I'm kind of limited on when I can do this. Let's see who else we got. Tracy Ralph is here. And I don't want to miss anybody. Okay, I think I hit anybody. If I missed your name, please say something and I will say hello out loud so that I saw you. If you have any questions, please put them all in caps, maybe with an emoji or two around it, just so my tired old eyes will see them. Otherwise, it'll go right by me. And Viviani is in the process of putting channels in the chat so everyone can go and like, subscribe, and share. Something that I recently learned is that after the show is over, if you go back in and leave a comment in the comment section, it boosts the algorithm. I don't quite know how that works, but one of the other readers that's like really into that kind of stuff, they were telling us, yeah, if they go in and put in a comment, even if it's just one word or an emoji or whatever, just put something in the comment section and it boosts the algorithm. So I've been asking everyone, please go, put a thumbs up or thumbs down or whatever, say, hey, whatever you want to do, but just go drop a comment. And that helps. It helps all of us. And now I know you do political questions. Do you do any other, or do you prefer just political? Or
No, I get tired of political, actually.
a lot of people do, yeah. So I wasn't quite sure, so I just put in the chat probably political, but we may be open to other questions. I'd wait for you.
Absolutely. Like I said, I get tired of politics. I was never into politics.
Yeah,
until this nonsense started happening.
right. I was always a news junkie. I would watch the news all the time, but I didn't really, I guess because I'm pretty progressive left and I live in the deep South, there weren't a lot of people I could talk to about it. So you kind of keep it to yourself. But I'm happy to I do personal questions. I just say no medical and no legal because I'm not a doctor and I'm not a lawyer and I don't want to get sued. And I can tell you if something worked for me or what I did to help myself, but then that's just an opinion. It's not. Don't take it as set in stone. But so if anybody has any questions,
we
please
do have a question there. Somebody is asking about Colorful Foresight is saying, any message from Spirit as I continue to feel more into my own, finally in my early 50s.
Okay, and there was somebody else had a question. Let me go up. I saw. Okay, there's one. And I was busy yakking and not looking. So, but I've learned to open up my YouTube chat on the side so that if somebody speaks directly to me, it highlights my name and I don't miss it. I've actually hurt feelings before because I missed it and I didn't see them in chat. They're like, well, I chatted. I put your name. You didn't say anything. I'm like, I'm sorry. I just had the StreamYard chat open. And let's see. I don't think. Okay. All right. Let's start. Patricia Franzino had the first question up, and it's a political question. So, if reelected, will Biden finish his second term? If not, will Harris show herself to be a dynamic president? Okay.
Okay, so that's where we're starting.
That was the first one. So I want to make sure I don't miss anybody and get that first question out there. I mean, I've kind of read on this before, and I know the feelings I've gotten from it. But as my guest, I will let you go first if you like.
Not particularly, doesn't matter to me.
Okay, I'd just like to offer. It's what my mama called good manners.
Yeah.
Being from the South, we're very strong in that department down here.
I don't hold to that. It doesn't make a difference to me if I go first, second.
Yeah, I don't care myself, but I always like to offer, and I always, just the way I was taught, always ask your guest first. Always offer someone a glass of tea or a cup of coffee if they show up. Always, just little things. And so I guess it gets so ingrained that you just keep doing it. And okay. Okay, well, mine's kind of all over the board here.
Yeah,
Starting out with the Ace of Swords.
Mine's starting to look that way as well.
Yeah, I'm starting out with the Ace of Swords here. It says, success, new conflict, surgery. So that very well could be Biden, the success that Biden is reelected. I believe he will be. I think that unless, God forbid, something horrible happens to him personally, I see him as being reelected to president. And then I got the strength card reversed, which is inner strength, self-doubt, insecurity. What I'm kind of feeling off of this is that Vice President Harris, Kamala Harris, is probably feeling a lot of these feelings, even though personally I believe that she is very competent in what she does. She was actually the first candidate I supported with the last go round. And I just really feel like she would make a phenomenal president. And this seems to show it'll be a struggle because there is that insecurity there. She'll be a first. It's always hard being a first. But then I end up with the Queen of Swords, independent, unbiased, direct communication. I think that between the Ace and the Queen of Swords, I'm just feeling like a lot of strength coming from the combination of the two of them. I've always felt that once they kind of hooked up, it just felt right from day one. And I think that if, God forbid, Biden is not able to finish his second term, I think she will step in and we'll have to put up with a lot of BS from people just because she's a woman and a woman of color. But I think she would she would show that she would be a phenomenal president. Um, a lot of people are like, you don't see her do anything today, but she does a lot of stuff. She's just very quiet about it. She's just background, backstage, working her took us off, you know. So I think there's a good chance that he may finish his second term, but then I have to stop and think of his age. So, which ageism, okay, I shouldn't go there, but still, I think that regardless of either way it goes, it's going to be good for the country all the way around.
Mhm.
And that's what I'm feeling on it. How about you, Lady G?
Okay, well, at the center of it, I have, that things are being defended, and we have some sort of an ending to some of the bad luck we've been having with the nonsense. And it's kind of a gamble with his health, health and things going forward. And we have also looking at the past and the wisdom of that. So I think this is coming into Kamala. And looking at the dark clouds and then a path forward, trying to figure a path forward for America and taking all of that into consideration. The challenge is, the wheel, the timing, the karma, things we're dealing, and the direction. Um, Worrying about a bit of drifting, and of course, the Uber ride attacks and stuff that they want to do. That's our challenge. And then clarification is about the people taking a breath, getting some light, eating away at this drama that we have going on. Underneath of it all, we have the world, some good news, okay, that some of this is going to get bypassed.
Okay. Yeah, I feel that with Biden's wisdom, she's learning a lot from him in just how to handle, especially foreign politics,
Yeah.
because that's such a powder keg right now. It's like one wrong move and everything could go to hell in a handbasket, as my grandmother used to say. Um, okay, let me make sure I haven't missed any new questions coming in. Okay. Uh, Next question from Colorful Foresight. Any message from Spirit as I continue to feel more into my own, finally in my early 50s? Yeah, I did a lot of growing in my 50s. That's kind of when I went into my own as well. Um, let's see. Let's see what we got. And again, hello to any new people that came in since I did my last round of hellos. It's really easy to miss. I try to be conscious, but I've got Lady G with me, so I want to be up on my game. Okay. Okay, I can go.
Go ahead.
Okay. All right, Miss Colorful Foresight. We're going to start out. I pulled from the Native Spirit Oracle deck. It's one of my favorites. The first card I pulled for you is Ancient Forest. And basically, what this is telling you is that your roots go deep. Um, there's a healing strength that's available to you and it's growing within you. Um, you are loved and you are cherished and you are grounded, is what Spirit is trying to get across to you. Um, with the native culture, uh, the ancient, the trees, the forest, is what they call the tree people because such a powerful life force comes from the trees and from the forest. You stop and think of how much, if trees could talk, how much knowledge could they impart to us of what they've experienced? Because some trees have been there for hundreds and hundreds of years. And then from there, I went to Spirit of Air. And that's just telling you that as your life is emerging, you're being advised. Spirit is telling you to look at things from a higher perspective. Um, look at the details in your life. Communicate what is your truth, but try to see it from a higher perspective of looking at that. And that's where the ancient forest comes in, as far as giving you your strength to build on. And I finished up with Tribal Spirit Dancer. Um, this is just telling you to say yes to life. Dance to your heart's desire. Dance naked in the moonlight if that's what you feel like doing. I mean, just whatever brings you joy. Um, as we get older and we realize there's so much more to life than just raising kids and making a paycheck and paying bills, it's important to just reach out and open that area up and just experience life the way we're supposed to experience it. Um, so I feel like Spirit's just telling you, just open up. It's all happening. Just open up and you're moving right along and just let it flow. That's, I guess, the best way I can put it. Just let it flow. And that's what I got.
Well, mainly what I got on your thing now is a lot of energy, the things that you're doing, the things that are moving, that are changing. So we have you here on the journey, taking that journey. We have a bit of the maze going out now, and it just have hope. Don't get in confusion. Don't feel like you're getting yourself lost. When it goes into your personal investigations, the hermit mode, which we have to go into if we're going to move and change, take a breath as things are moving forward and you're birthing something new. So, take it easy. Again, take a breath and move forward. Make sure you keep grounded in balance to your energy at your home, etc. The world, with the worldview, anchor it in. Again, don't let yourself get overwhelmed with things. And when it comes to the difficult things, ego stuff, things that want to chain you, the difficult things, and sometimes people want to be magician, and they think that's like the most powerful thing in the tarot. That's the beginning point. People want to make change. So know that you've got to, the path takes a while. You got to dig deep to get what you want. So don't think about wanting to become you become the magician and the power and personal power. It's about surrender into the divine is and going with the flow of the universe, Ryan, rather than trying to control, because that's where you get stuck. Okay.
Okay. And I know she's just getting her channel started. So she's branching out. She's actually going to be on my show. When are you going to be on my show? I forget. Coming up November 5th. So everybody, I'll be able to highlight her and show her off to everyone and jump in and get things going. I remember how absolutely nerve wracking it was my first live stream. I screwed something up and locked myself out of YouTube for 24 hours. And I wound up having to do it through another person's channel. Talk about feel like an idiot. So, yeah, if I survive that, you could survive anything. Um, okay, let's see here. All right. Tracy Ralph had a question for you, Lady G. How's your book doing? Um,
Well, I have a number of books, and it's doing okay. The one that I, kind of recommend is Kundalini from Hell to Heaven. Now, it has things that can be beneficial for anybody on a spiritual path. All my books you can find under Ganga Karmakar on Amazon.com.
very good. Cool. All right. Okay. Next one is Patricia, and she's wanting to know if there's a spiritual message, how to deal with music at night from restaurant underneath current apartment. That could be annoying.
Good, but my advice is dance with it.
There you go. That's great. My son's a musician, so there's like always music going in there, and he starts firing up his instruments, and it can drive you batty some days. But when I left Louisiana and went to Phoenix for 10 years, and he went in the opposite direction, and then he joined the Navy, was in the Navy for 5 years. It didn't take long before I started missing hearing that music at 2 a.m. It was like it became such a background sound for me that I really missed. And now that we all live together again, it's great to have it back again. That any given time of the day or night, you're going to hear music. But yeah, I would say just go with it. Maybe go down and ask them to play a particular type of music after a certain hour.
It's a dancer, so make use of it. Maybe it's a different genre than you're used to doing, and it'll expand your horizons. Now, I know one place I lived, it was right next to the roadway, and when I grew up, where we we lived next to the San Francisco airport, so I had the planes going off, and right across the street was the train. So we'd have trains and planes, and the whole place would shake. But yeah, when it came to the traffic going by, I would just hear it like waves of the ocean. And so rather than being irritating, it became, something that was relaxing rather than irritating. So find a way that you can turn it into something positive.
Yeah, I know. Back when my son was second, third grade, something like that, we had moved into another house that was a little bit closer to the school that he went to. And it was an old wood frame house built up off the ground. Well, the backyard, the railroad track ran behind the house. And the train would come through about 3 a.m. every night. And it would, and because it was between two streets, we would hear the whistle twice about 3 a.m. ish every night. And when we first moved there, it drove us crazy. But after about a month, I didn't even hear the train anymore. Somebody would come to the house and they'd be like, "Wow, that train's loud." And I'd be like, "Oh, the train's running."
Yeah.
Didn't even hear it anymore. So, yeah, it's
become used to it. It just becomes part of your existence, and that's it. You just live with it.
Patricia put this up also. You have 3 CDs with there. Do you play the flute?
Oh yes, Native American
I
flute.
knew you sang because I've listened to some of your opera stuff that you've done, and it's phenomenal.
Oh, thank you.
I can't carry a tune in a bucket, so And then when they did the cervical fusion on my neck, it damaged all of the stuff in the front. So now I sound like I'm talking in a gravel pit. I can't help it.
You could do music like Janis Joplin. See, I don't have that kind of a voice.
Yeah. Well, if I could carry a tune, I could, but
Yeah,
I'm like so off. It's not
I
even.
love Janis Joplin. You know, people that have that gravelly type of
Yeah.
voice can do the blues and stuff like that. I don't have that type of voice, but
Yeah, I have that kind of voice. I just can't carry a tune. Um, I can listen to somebody else, and I know immediately if they went flat, if they hit a sharp, if they went off. I can hear it, but I can't do it.
oh,
And
that's one thing that drives you crazy. You know, you watch this American Idol and people auditioning and they think they're great and they're singing flat or singing sharp, and it's just like fingernails on a blackboard.
yes,
Like, oh,
oh yeah, oh yeah. Oh, I like what Lisa put. Just listen to the beat and you can lull yourself to sleep.
there you go.
And awesome. Okay, let's see. Last question for the moment is Gina M has asked, if I return to London, I'll have physical harm come to me.
I think this is a pendulum question.
Yeah, I was just sitting here thinking that.
Yeah, that's why I went to get it. So let's see. I've been told if I return to London, I will have physical harm come to me due to my previous negative energy and anger. No.
Yeah, let's see.
And it's a strong no.
Yeah, I'm getting a no too. I mean, that sucker's, wow. It's really going.
It's a strong no.
That's a very strong no.
Yeah, so absolutely not. You're quite fine. Go and enjoy it, you know, and let go of that.
Even my rose quartz is telling you no.
Yeah, yeah. It's, you know, you don't want to pull that energy in. And sometimes, you know, that's what can happen. And this is the way that curses work and that type of thing. They plant a seed of doubt and shadow, and you pick it up, and the worry and the fear mode start germinating and giving that power. So don't give that power. It's absolutely not. You know, you're fine and you can go and enjoy yourself. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I know for a lot of readers, I went through it myself. Just the fear of getting on YouTube and doing this. It was like, I was really, really, I have no problem talking. I have a problem with shutting up. I tend to just keep going. But actually having to get in front of a camera and do all of that, it was very frightening. Almost chickened out several times with doing it, but the call was there. It was like, no, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Kind of like how Linda G says, I don't want to brush my hair and put on makeup. It's like, I got to do that to go to work. Now you want me to do it on my day off. Well, now when I do this, I mean, I would love if I could do just this full time and be able to survive. That would be my dream. And maybe one day that will happen. But for now, it's just, I do it because I feel like I'm supposed to do it and because it's so much fun. I find that the more I do, the stronger my gifts are.
Exactly.
The more I do, the more people I meet. And I mean, geez, I'm meeting people from around the world that are just so interesting and so loving and so kind. And let's see, Viviani had a question. A message from Spirit, please. Let's see. I think I'm going to hit you with my. I just got a new Oracle deck in. Don't know where it came from. Don't know who sent it. It was anonymous, but
Nice.
I'm loving it. And it's called, what's the name of it? It's called Witch's Wisdom. And it goes through all the different types of Wiccan and pagan type references. And it's really cool. I really like this. It's very pretty. The colors on the cards are so saturated. It's kind of breathtaking to look at. And I just got it. It's just, unfortunately, it's so big I can't shuffle. I have to shuffle them, this way to get it to work. Let's see here. And if somebody had a question and I missed it, please poke me and let me know. Tried to keep up, but you can get sidetracked real easy. Okay. This is new. I'm gonna have to look some of these up here.
Okay, while you're doing that, I'll go ahead and go then.
Yes, you go right on ahead.
So at the center of it, one of the keys for you is to have a good, strong foundation of a kindred spirits. Now, whether it's physical people around you or your tribe, as you have here on the net, it's good for you to have that within your world. It helps to cause stability for you. As far as your messages going into it, the strength is know that things come in seasons. We have things, you have to go through the seasons. We have ups, we have downs. Remember, this too will pass, whatever it is that's happening. And that's one of the things, what Buddha said, suffering is caused because people want to hold on to things and not have change. But remember, everything is in flux and change. Now, the challenge is the gamble of when you have the difficult times and the nightmare, the things that plague the mind. Okay, so one of the things I tell people to do, if you go into depression or you have some of that, start a gratitude journal. Gratitude really helps to pull you out of that scenario, the soap opera time that people get into. And last but not least, clarification. When you run up against snaky lies and drama, which we all run into along the way, we run into somebody like that, negative, know that you have the power and use the inner vision to connect with the divine is, because like I tell people, we all have the same seed, the same amount of the divine is that powers our being. So don't let the shadows try to overcome light. Light is always more brilliant and gets rid of it. Shadow is nothing. Okay, so don't let shadows have too much power.
Exactly. I pulled for you ritual, invocation, and basically what it's saying is that your desire to connect to spirit has been acknowledged, and spirit is aware of this, and that part of learning and getting closer is, I say part of that is developing your own rituals. It doesn't have to be a Wiccan ritual or a pagan ritual or a Christian ritual or a Buddhist or whatever. Create what works for you, because we all have our own rituals of how we do things day to day. And so that would be the most important thing. And then I also pulled Yule, which is a rebirth. and it's just telling you to you're ascending, you're growing stronger. Um, you have an exalted journey that's at your doorstep, ready for you to step out and go on that path. Leave the past behind. Leave the leave all the little things that have always drug you down. Leave them behind. Brush them into the fireplace and be done with it, and just go forward. Um, we light the Yule log in order to bring in a new year. That's part of that ritual. Um, so it's learning to embrace a new way of life, and it's learning to just accept what is coming at you and just being open for it. And as you open up for it, more and more things will happen, which is what I'm learning. Is it's sometimes it can kind of catch you off guard, and sometimes you're like, oh wow, I didn't expect that. um let's see, Tracy said,
Yeah, I want to just interject. One of my favorite rituals is making my coffee in the morning and just enjoying the fragrance of it, the sound of it, the taste of it, and just getting
yes,
myself ready for the day. And it doesn't matter, you want to set up your altar, whatever, put whatever you want on it. Somebody that you admire, that you want to remember, a rock for stability or strength, or water to remember to be fluid. You can put it however you want it, whatever connects you. If you have a special place that connects you, put that
yeah,
picture up. If it's forest, if it's desert, whatever it is, and you create your own ritual and your own things that bring you that feeling of connection to spirit. Some things you can go through are what different scents remind you of different things. What colors? How do those colors feel to you? What do they represent to you?
yeah,
So you can go through all of that, and it's all about your own personal thing. Somebody not cannot tell you what you have to do and how it's supposed to be, because each person is different and you have to go on your own vibrational journey.
exactly. I mean, I know with me, you mentioned coffee. I set my pot the night before, so it starts brewing like a minute or two before the alarm goes off, so that by the time I drag myself out of bed, it's just finishing up, and it's that lovely aroma that fills the house. Fix my coffee, go sit out on the patio. I don't care how hot or how cold it is. I go sit outside and I drink that first cup of coffee. Um, Anytime I feel like I need to connect to spirit, I go sit outside on the patio. Um, the apartments where we live, they all have little, very private individual patios for each apartment, which is really nice because you could go sit outside and still see what's around you. But unless somebody walks directly in front of you, they don't see you sitting there. Um, so it gives you that form of privacy, while at the same time letting you be open to what's going on around you. I know not that long ago, my son and I were sitting out on the patio. He was noodling on his guitar. We were just sitting out there, and all of a sudden, this beautiful black and gold butterfly, huge butterfly, came flying into the patio and just like flitting all around both of us. It didn't land. I tried to put my hand out and see if it would land on my hand, and it started to, and then it like changed its mind. But it was a good solid 5 minutes of this butterfly just flitting all around us, and both of us were like, "Oh my God, do you see this?" And it was so beautiful. But and it wasn't until after it flew away that it just hit me that, okay, that was spirit talking to me, and I need to stop and think, where was my mind at when that happened? What was it going through my brain that spirit decided to answer? And it was, and it was, I was thinking on some things about my mom, and it just really at that point came across it. That was your mom talking to you, just saying, I'm right here. You don't have to worry. I'm still here, you know. Um, Literally, she's about 25 feet that way in an urn. And we have a small altar set up for her with pictures. And my urn and my brother's urn, we just split the ashes. And there it sits. So she still kind of oversees the house and will let us know when she's not happy. So just like she did when she was physically still here. Um, so yeah, just be open for that. Find a place to let you be able to plug in. It
Exactly.
could be in a room, outside on the beach, in the forest, in a field, whatever.
Different things connect people differently. I know the first time my mind stilled, which was, explosive. I was sitting, I can tell you exactly where I was at. I was at Coffee Trieste in San Francisco having my latte, looking out the window, and all of a sudden everything went silent. The mind went still. And the expansion happened, but it was around my maybe that's one reason I'm so connected with coffee.
There you go. It knew what you loved and it connected with you through that love. You know, with me, it's coffee and chocolate, obviously. Um, I tease, I laugh at everybody. I said, at the rate I'm going, they'll be able to roll me down the hall pretty soon. I won't have to walk. I'm almost as wide as I am tall, and I'm not tall at all. So, I mean, I'm only 5 feet tall. So,
You're not that much shorter than me. I'm 5'2", and I
oh,
think
okay, yeah,
I'm 5'1" now. So
yeah. I discovered you shrink as you get older.
yeah,
Let's see. And I saw a couple of people show up that I wanted to say hello to, and I didn't want to interrupt you because you were talking. And all right, I know I saw them. Where are they? Doo, doo, doo. Oh, Rachel is here. Hi, Rachel. And she's an absolute sweetheart. And Melissa is here. Hi, Melissa. Thank you for coming. And Budgie K. Okay. If I completely murdered your name, forgive me. It was not intentional. Um, Being French, I tend to pronounce everything with a French accent. So, um, which threw me when I moved to Phoenix because I had to relearn how to do everything with a Spanish accent, with how you say certain words. And it was, I would try to say in French, and people were like, "No, that's not how you say that." Took a while. So let's see. Tracy here had a question. I had put that up before we finished with, um, was it Viviani we had answered? I'm being told that you do not bypass personal work. You don't hide the truth. That's very true, Tracy. Yeah, you learn to love what you teach. My mom could sew anything, and she taught herself to quilt the old fashioned way, as well as doing it on a machine. And she loved doing it so much, she started teaching classes, like beginners classes for somebody that had never picked up a needle and thread in their life to come in and learn how to quilt. And she had the best classes. Her students just loved her. Me, I can't sew a button on. I'm arts and crafts challenged. I'm just not, I'm not very adept at that kind of stuff. But I can swing a mean bat and knock that ball over the back fence. So, my gifts laid elsewhere. I was into the sports, not into the creative arts. Um, but yeah, she would teach people how to quilt and how to sew. She was just so phenomenally good at it. Um, it really used to blow my mind how well she could make something look better than store bought. And um, yes, if you haven't already done so, please go subscribe, like, and share to Lady G. And and be sure you tell her a big thank you because she agreed very last minute to come on today. Let's see, what did Rachel put?
So I wanted to comment on the personal work.
Okay.
That's the big, big, big part of the journey, is coming to witness state where you can see your actions and how you're interacting in the world, and contemplating and looking and questioning deeper the things that are going on.
Yeah.
Because I know if you come out, and like I had a lot of trauma when I was young, and I would do piercing, because, and then it hit me finally. I was doing it because the physical pain was easier to deal with than the mental pain. And as this would start healing up, the mental pain would come back. I'd be piercing again. And finally woke up to that and went, well, that's stupid. That's not, it's not solving anything. And so what I found was the people that had caused the trauma, they were in a hell realm. They were compelled to do what they were doing, and I had a chance to get out of it. And by having PTSD and the other things that were going on, the depression, PTSD, I was harming myself at that point. Yes, physical actions happened, but I was the one that was continuing the saga. So again, part of it is looking deeper and questioning it. And when you get to the root of it, it cuts it, and then that dismantles. So yeah, the personal work, you can't help somebody else unless you've gone through it and you know the path and the map out and the way forward. This idea about being a wounded healer doesn't work. You can't heal if you're wounded. You're
Yeah.
still in the trauma. You're still in the thing. So you have to have the map forward. So if you've gone through it, and if people that say they want to be a teacher, if you want to be a teacher, you're going to have the more difficult life path, because you have to be able to walk through those and get to the other side so that you have a map to show people how to go forward. Because the blind, what happens? You have two blind people, they both fall in the ditch. So, personal work, really, really, really important.
Very much so. Tracy put that basically just like how you said. If you don't do the work to try to keep yourself connected and clear, then you're just going to go deeper into that spiral yourself. I mean, for those of us with empathic abilities, like you were talking about earlier, and something that I've always had, more of an emotional type feeling. I would get people's emotions. It's very easy to be in a room, and if there's one person in that room that's really depressed, if I get too close to them, they will literally suck the energy out of me. I just feel it go.
Yeah, and that's
It's
the one
hard
thing to learn on the path. When you are opening up to that empathy and you're feeling those things, understand if you are happy and the next second all of a sudden your emotions change, look and see if it's truly your emotion or you're picking something up, because you don't need to be that open to it. Recognize what it is, and then go back to your own thing and let go of that. So yeah, that's an important thing to learn on the path.
And that's one of the things I've been learning myself, is to how to I have a friend that I've known for 30 plus years. I love her to death, but she is an energy vampire. She doesn't know it, but it's like I have to really build myself up if I know I'm going to be somewhere where she is, because she just sucks it out of you because she's such a depressed person. And that seems to be her normal state of mind. And I'm always wanting to, it's like you want to shake somebody and say, snap out of it, as Cher famously said, just to try to get her.
good, but we can't change people's things. They have to be ready to make that change. And sometimes they have to fall and hit rock bottom before they're willing to start looking up.
Exactly. And it's like, as much as I love her and care about her, I don't spend a lot of time with her because she just exhausts me. And it's like, I have too much stuff I have to do. And it just takes a lot. So it's like, I have to really do specific things to build up my energy when I know I'm going to be where she is. And while I love her to death, yeah, you have to watch for people like that because a lot of times they don't even know they're doing it.
Yeah.
That's just their normal way of being. And until you can open their eyes to make changes, they're going to continue to be like that. Which is, I think, as light workers, is one of the jobs that we have of just being able to point out to people, when we see it, how can we help them help themselves?
Yeah, but they have
You never really help someone until they're ready to help themselves.
exactly. They can't do anything for them until they're ready for that. Nobody can do anything for them until they're ready for that. So just keep your energy center, hold on to that, and don't let them bleed you dry.
Exactly. And it can be hard. It can be hard to do that. So it's a constant. I mean, it's like for someone who's an alcoholic and walks away from it. It's not a one-time deal and they never drink again. It's a day-to-day. You get up that morning and you think, I will not drink today, or I will not do drugs today, or I will not insert whatever situation. And it's something that for addictive personalities, it's even harder because biologically they're fighting that as well as the spiritual of stepping away. And it's a day-to-day. That's how I've always felt with the empath and empathic abilities. It's a day-to-day ability to say, let me help, but don't let it drain me. It's kind of the prayer that I put out, is let me help whatever way I can, but not to the point that it makes me physically ill, which you can do if I'm not careful. Let's see. I had another.
Addictive personalities are trying to run away from something or trying to plug a hole that's there. And so they have to be able to, like, I have one student that works in the drug thing. She works with first responders. And so I gave her some practice that works. They have to be able to see where they're stuck. And once they see where they're stuck, they can make their own bridge, how to get out of it. So they create their own plan to go forward. You can't give them a plan. They have to see it for themselves, and they can create the plan and do the steps to come out of it. Absolutely.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And that's hard. It's hard to do and kind of stay on top of that. Let's see. I haven't seen any more questions, but people are putting some really good bits in there, so I want to share them. Rachel, she switched over to her channel name now. She was just on my show yesterday. We did a show. She did a thing of shadow work. She actually had a series once a week. She was putting out a little 5 to 10 minute video on shadow work. It was really interesting. So if anybody's interested in learning about that or how to take some steps with that, go see the Wolf Oracle. She's got some stuff on it. It's really, really good. Oh, wow, Lady G, 10,000 subscribers. That's awesome.
Yeah, this month I
folks, I was doing a happy dance when I hit 500. And I'll get there one day. I'm not going to worry about it.
It does take time. It does take time.
It takes time. And you've been doing this for a while. Like I said, I've been watching you for quite a while. So I've learned a lot watching you.
Oh, well, thank you.
And there we go, Dally. put that up.
Congratulations.
Congratulations on that. That's my late husband was a recovering alcoholic. He'd been 14 years clean and sober when he passed, and it was something he fought with every day. I mean, so as someone, I mean, I was never a drinker, once in a blue moon, but so I never really understood the draw for it. But when you get close to someone who has an addiction, you can start seeing all the little ways that they'll either make excuses to keep doing it, or all the little ways that they work to try to walk away from it. We had a neighbor one time who, he and his wife lived across the street from us, and he was a recovering crack addict. And he one day he was talking about it. He said the hardest part is in the middle of the night. He says, I literally hear it calling me, saying, come find me, come find me, you know. He says, and I know if I do, it's going to kill me. He says, and it's just, and I never really thought of it quite that way. And I was like, wow, that's really profound. I mean, he literally could hear a drug calling him to come back. That's how addictive it was. And so it was a struggle with him, not just daily, but every hour of the day, you know, to fight it and stay away from it. And I mean, we wound up moving away. Years went by him. I hope he had a long life. I don't know. Gina M needs a wrench. I can do that. And I have found, all right, Gina M, you just had a wrench thrown at you. I have found you can go back in after the show and add moderators. When the chat goes up again with your show after the fact, you can go in and add them afterwards. You can add a moderator, so that's kind of cool. Let's see. Kathy G has a question. A card on the rest of the month. Okay.
Well,
In what particular area? It's
what I got for her with that is the key is look for opportunities. Okay. Look for opportunities, open paths for you. So something is there. Keep your eyes open.
okay, well, you're a jump ahead of me. You must have saw that before.
I did.
You saw it before me. You were ready.
I saw it, knew it was coming, so just pulled the
Here
card.
we go. Yeah. Let me pull a few here. Okay. What were we just talking about? Dark side of the universe, mirror and archangel protection. So perhaps that's something you need to work on for the rest of the month, or at least look into working on it. Let's see. Let's go with another card here. And this is Scott Allen's Spiritual Essence. This is his ET Oracle deck that he created himself. And so it's actually pretty cool. He's got some good stuff in here. Let's see. And a male ancestor is with you, is what it's saying. So you have somebody that's there with you to help you work on that mirror work. You've got the Wolf Girl Oracle in the chat who did an entire series on it. You can go to her channel and click on those shows and watch them. And that will probably help you at least answer some questions you may have, or help you to deal with some stuff. Let's see. That's funny. The first time Lisa's spiritual, what is it? Intuitive. I forget now how it's her channel name goes. She was the first one that wrenched me. So, and she would make a little sound like she was physically throwing a wrench at you, you know. But that's okay, Gina. Go do your grocery shopping. Drive careful, girl. Be safe. Um, let's see. Do you see anything else on here, Lady G? I think we've covered
No,
it.
I think we're good.
I think we're good.
We covered quite a bit of ground today.
We did, and we just went over an hour, and I didn't want to keep you much longer than that because I know you're busy and have your things to do. And this was very last minute. You agreeing to come on, so thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Happy to do it. Thank you for inviting me.
You're welcome. You're welcome to come back anytime. Um, so if you ever want to just come hang in the swamp, give me a holler, and I'll bring you in, and we'll go from there.
I had somebody the other day ask me why you call it the swamp, and I said, I don't know. You'll have to ask her.
Because technically, I live about 3 miles from the largest land-based swamp in continental U.S.
Well, there you
I'm
go.
about 3 miles from the Atchafalaya Swamp. I live in Southwest Louisiana, down at the bottom of the boot, and I grew up around the swamp. It's I
Masonville, huh?
spent a lot of years living in other places. I love the beach, but the swamp is still home for me.
A lot of Cajuns still there doing all the, what do they call it? The music, the Cajun.
Oh, the Cajun music, the Zydeco.
Oh, Zydeco, that's it.
Music.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, I had family that played music, and it's all around us down here. They tried for years to wipe out the Cajun French language. Like when my mom was a kid in school, you weren't allowed to speak French. You would get punished. And they pretty much got rid of it, except for all of the Zydeco and Cajun music is all in Cajun French. So you had to know how to speak it to sing it. And it kept it from disappearing. And now, of course, in the schools, they have French immersion classes where, your kids go in and that's all they do is learn how to speak Cajun French. I mean, when I was in school, kids that were Cajun, they spoke French first before English. That's just the way it was down here. And I used to speak a little bit and understand some of it when I was a child. But then I was away for so long, I kind of lost it. And I've been thinking about taking a class. I work at a university, and they offer classes for Cajun French. And I've been seriously thinking about taking a class just to relearn the language again. And because it brings a lot of good memories back from family that are no longer with us.
Good thing to do then.
Yes. So I want to thank you, Lady G, again for coming on.
Thank you.
Especially for so last minute. Thank you, everybody, for coming and sharing your Sunday with me and with Lady G. And have a wonderful, blessed day. Have a fantastic week. Think positive thoughts. And love and light. And namaste. We will see y'all when we see you. Bye.
See you online.